good afternoon, or good morning, good evening, good, depending on where you are. Hi. I look very pale. I think it's my lighting. But hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Olive. I'm a textile fiber artist living in Montreal. Yeah, it's great to have you. Thanks for being here. I have lipstick on my teeth. I just got my nails painted. It was my birthday on Monday. Today's Wednesday. And my sweet friend Soph and I went and got our nails painted. And I was working with sewing needles the other day and I kept jabbing myself and then being like, oh, I'm bleeding. But it was actually just my nail polish. There it is. Very cute. It was very fun. Hope you're all doing really well. I'm really excited to be back with another video. On my last, Joe. My cat is here. Joe, hello. You wanna come here? This is Jojo. On my last video, Emily suggested in the comments, hi Emily, that I go through my journey with crochet, how I started. Crochet is what I've been doing longer. I actually only started knitting last spring, so it's been just under a year that I've been knitting. I knit as a kid, but never like seriously, kind of just off and on. I don't think I ever like finished anything. I would just kind of work on a scarf half-heartedly every so often, but I only started knitting for real last year. But crochet I've been doing since 2022, I believe. So it's been just about 3 years. Actually, I think it's been exactly 3 years because I started crocheting during reading week when I was still, I think I was a master's student at the time. Reading week of my master's degree, which is this week, usually. So yeah, 3 years. 3 years since I've started crocheting. And I feel like even I haven't really looked back that much on what I've made. I have some photos here that I'll kind of go through and I'll obviously post them here probably, or here. I never know. I don't know why I do this every time. One of these places I'll post them. And yeah, just kind of talk about my journey with crochet, what got me started, and where I am with it now. I do still crochet, so I'll show you some pieces that I've made recently. I think I knit more now. I kind of have, there's a place for both in my practice. I think knitting is better for garments, like sweaters, shirts, things like that. But I like crochet for like winter accessories, like hats, scarves, things like that, because crochet is thicker. Naturally, I feel like with knitting, you kind of have to do like a double knit situation to get the same effect. But crochet just works out faster, it's chunkier. So I still make a lot of my accessories crochet. And I'll try and show you some of those. I was kind of trying to look back and see how many of these things I still owned. And it is very few. I could only find maybe like 4 or 5 pieces. They're in that pile there. 4 or 5 pieces of things that I have made. And most of these things I've given away. A couple of them I frogged and made something else with, which I will show you when they come up. I really try very hard not to keep like a stash of yarn. But I am about to talk to you about some acquisitions, and I have much more yarn right now than I usually have on hand. I have 2 sweater quantities worth of yarn at the moment. A couple things for projects for friends, some things I thrifted. So I'm going to show you that. I'm going to start by talking about just recent things I've been working on. The biggest one being my Pippi pullover, Joe, which is done. Here it is. I am so happy with this. I used Wool of the Andes worsted weight yarn in Kohl, It was really affordable. I think I got it on sale and it was like $3.99 Canadian per 50 grams skein. And I got 10 skeins, so I paid like 40 bucks for this yarn. And I think it's so cute. I'm obsessed with the sleeves. Big sleeves, which is my thing. I love the double knit collar. Let me try and show you that. Double knit collar. It's my first time doing like a folded over collar, and I think it looks so good. So really happy with this. I basically followed the pattern exactly, except I didn't do the color work, and I had to shorten the sleeves and the body a bit because I had less yarn than the creator did. But it's the Pippi pullover by Kiss Kiss Rhinestones. It's a free pattern. It's only made in one size, but it's fairly adjustable and oversized. So yeah, I made it completely to pattern. Highly recommend. I love it. So that was kind of the big thing I finished. Yeah, just so happy with it. It's so nice. I don't think I'll ever work with black again. I made this sweater to replace my favorite sweater, which is like a super cheap H&M sweater that's black that I wear all the time, but it was completely falling apart and I wanted one that was the same shape but nicer quality. Yeah, I feel like I crushed it. I'm really happy with it. So yeah, ooh, Alexa's talking. Anyway, that is kind of the big thing I've done. I am working on another whip right now that I'm about to finish, but I can't show you because it's a gift. And I feel like the person I'm gifting it to might watch this. So when I've given it to them, or right before I give it to them, I will show you. I'm really happy with it. It's my first time doing color work, believe it or not. I love color, but I tend to use a gradient yarn because I'm afraid of color work. Well, I guess I've done color work on socks. Like I've done the cuff and the toe and the heel in a different color. But this was my first time doing like stripes. And I love it. I'm gonna do it all the time. Will not be going back. So some other things I've been working on recently. I've been really into card making. I think I told you in the last video I made a card for my partner Ryan for Valentine's Day that I couldn't show you because it wasn't Valentine's Day yet, but I can show you now. So here it is. It looks like this. It's a Victorian puzzle card. So this is the front and it just says, "To Ryan, love, Olive." And then you open it once. And it has this like funky design situation happening. And then you open it again. And it opens like this. So this was the card I made him. This took me way longer than I expected. It was weirdly a lot of work, but I was really inspired by quilt work, like the 8-pointed quilt star, folk art, like the birds and the houses. Yeah, really happy with how this turned out. I think it's really fun, and he loved it, so that was great. So the other two cards I made recently, like I mentioned, my birthday was Monday, and two of my best friends are born. Is there still lipstick? No. Yes? I don't know. Whatever. Two of my best friends are born yesterday and today. So we're the 24th, 25th, and 26th of February, and we were all born in the same year, which is just so funny. We didn't meet in school or anything. We met as adults. It was just like a complete coincidence. But they're my Pisces pals, and I made them both cards for their birthdays. So I also made them like handmade little envelopes because I thought that was a fun touch. This is my card for Brooke. Brooke loves bunnies, so I made little bunnies. It says "Happy Birthday, Brooke." Yeah, same kind of thing. I did some little just designs on the inside. But yeah, I think this is really cute. I really hope she likes it. I kind of cut out a bunny stencil that I traced, and then I did like the graphing, or the, what's the checkered print, and worked with that. But that's Brooks. And my friend Soph, who was yesterday, really likes coffee. So this is Soph's. I got her to send me a photo of her kettle because she has like a really specific kettle, and I kind of tried to trace that. And yeah, this is Soph's card. And I did the same thing on the inside with just the little quilt squares. So those are their cards. I'm gonna give them to them in the next couple days, so this will not be out before I give it to them, thankfully. And then I decided I wanted to make them friendship bracelets. This was a miserable experience. I tried to make polymer clay beads. It was so hard, but I am really happy with the result. So this is Brooks. It's so hard to show you. I might have to get like B-reel or something. I don't really know how to edit content. This is Brooks' bracelet. So the beads are like on this bracelet, and then it's like adjustable. Maybe it'd be easier if I showed it to you on me. I have no idea. Anyway, trying to get the beads, like I obviously put a hole in the beads before I baked the clay, but my hole wasn't really big enough, and trying to get so it looks like that on. Trying to get the beads onto the bracelets it was a journey. I almost gave up, but I found the strength to keep going. This is Soph's. It says Soph. There's like little beads, and hers has like little hearts at the end. I was using like a sewing needle to try and get it through the cord, and I broke 2 sewing needles trying to do that, and then eventually Ryan suggested that I use like an elastic, not an elastic, but like a rubber band to kind of wrap around the sewing needle to get some traction, and that worked. So we did it, we got there. My hands are a bit worse for wear, but I'm so proud of the end result, and I think they're gonna really appreciate it. Okay, this is already such a long video, but I do also want to just talk about my acquisitions, because I am not a big yarn purchaser. I really try and keep my stash small. I don't buy things unless I have a project in mind. But 2 of my very good friends, Kate and Naomi, asked me to make them both something. So we went to the yarn store together. They picked out the yarn for their projects, and they also bought me some balls of yarn as a thank you for me to make a sweater. So I'm going to show you all of that yarn. So Naomi requested a knit balaclava. I've made a couple of those. I wear mine constantly. She picked this beautiful, beautiful yarn. This is Fiona, 346 Fiona from Dos Tierras. It's 50% merino wool, 50% baby alpaca, so extremely soft. Yeah, it's beautiful. And her mom's name is Fiona, so it was a nice touch. I think this will be so pretty. I'm really excited to make this for her. Kate wanted a crochet scooty, which I've also made a couple of now. So she picked out these 3 colors from Queensland Collection. This is Falkland Chunky. It's merino wool as well, I believe. Yes, merino wool. Yep, 100% wool. Yeah, it's really beautiful. So really excited for those 2 projects. Then they both bought me some Drops Air. These are the 2 colors. They are, I think this is, I actually don't know what color this is. Orange maybe, and blush. And I'm going to make a stripe overload cardigan with this. I'm really excited about that. And we went thrifting, and I found some vintage wool from Sears. It's 100% wool, virgin wool, so undyed. I just realized there's a stain on it, which is annoying. Anyway, but it's made in Canada. And I love this, what is this? This like label. I think it's so fun. So yeah, I got 4 balls of this too. And I think I'm just gonna use this. I always need like a basic yarn when I'm doing like smaller projects as like another color to use. So that's what I'm gonna use this for. So now we can kind of get into my crochet journey. So as I said, I started crocheting in 2022. I think because I just really wanted something to do with my hands. Like if I was watching a show or something, I felt like there was more I could be doing. I was also an academic for a really long time. I have 2 degrees, a bachelor's and a master's degree. And my work was in poetry. And I think I was really lacking a craft that felt like tangible, like poetry, and writing, theory, all of those things feel very abstract. And I wanted something that was like, when I finished it, it was a tangible thing I could hold in my hands and say like, this is my art, which I couldn't really do with poetry, even though I still love poetry and I write and I publish. I still love that feeling of being like, this is what I made, here it is. You can look at it and touch it. So that was kind of where I went. I knew that I liked the look of knitting more, but it didn't feel as accessible to me. I didn't really know where to start with knitting, but with crochet, it felt very feasible to just buy like a set of hooks and a yarn and give it a shot. I found some pattern writers that I really liked. I remember in particular Nastya Crochets, I believe, Nastja Crochets. Her patterns really spoke to me, and she was kind of the first pattern maker that I really loved in crochet, so I bought some of her patterns. I tried to start in reading week, got really flustered and frustrated, and I never finished. Took a break, finished the school year. Then that September, I picked it up again. And this is the first thing I actually finished. This was yarn that I just bought on, I want to say Amazon. It's like a very plush blanket yarn. It was miserable to work with. If you're new to crochet, do not get this kind of yarn. Just get like something like this is what you want for a beginner. Easy, chunky, thick yarn, not in a dark color that you can see. I picked a dark color, fuzzy yarn, you can't see your stitches. Disaster. So this scarf pattern I had just found on YouTube. It's a great pattern. I really recommend it for beginners. I can link it below. Yeah, I made this pretty quickly and gave it to a friend for her birthday. So that was the first thing I ever finished. It's not horrible. Like I look back and I'm like, it's fine. I wish it was thicker. I wish I had added more fringe, but could be a lot worse. But yeah, this was the first thing I ever finished. So this next thing is a Nastya, and I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name wrong, but a Nastya Crochets project. This is the, I can't remember the name, but it's a bag, like a market bag. I used cotton yarn from, what's the one? Something in cream. Peaches and cream. What's that brand called? If you know, you know. It's just like a pretty basic cotton yarn. This was my first time working kind of in the round, bottom up. This is also one I gave to a friend, and I saw her recently and she said she uses it to hang her clothespins on her clothesline. And I was like, that's perfect. Looking back on this, especially on the handle, I did not know that a regular stitch in crochet, you go through both posts of like the V. I thought you always just go through the back loop only. So I that was fine for in the round, but once I started the handles, you can tell that I didn't know to go through both loops. I just was always going through back loop only. And that looks quite obvious now, but I still think it's a usable project. It's pretty. Yeah, pretty good. And this was a good like starter project, I would say. It was fun. Learned a lot for sure. Didn't learn about using both loops of the crochet hook, but yeah, I was really proud of this when I finished. So this is when I started to get really into it. This is a photo of me at the park, actually with my friend Soph. And I was making, sorry, I went too far in my photos, bandana by Nastia Crochets. And then I tried to make the Florence cardigan, also by her. This is as far as I got, unfortunately. My stitches were so tight. I think at this point I still didn't understand going through both loops, so I was still doing back loop only for every row. Yeah, I think I just gave up, especially trying to pick up for the sleeves. I was like, no, I can't do this. And I think I frogged this and used that yarn for other things. This was also what is it called? Something in cream. Berries in cream? Cream? I don't know. Something cream. It's a cotton yarn. Someone tell me in the comments, please. I'm losing it. Anyway, looking back, like, it really wasn't that bad. My tension was okay. I definitely could have finished it, and I still would love to make this cardigan at some point. It's still one of my favorite patterns, so hopefully soon. But that was my first time attempting like a garment in crochet. That wasn't an accessory. Oh, and here's the bandana that I was talking about before that I made by her. Okay, then I started making hats, and this was generative for me. This is just a really simple back loop only hat pattern. It's like you make a rectangle and cinch it. This is when I learned that back loop only is not the standard. So I finally figured it out here. I made this hat for my mom's partner. He still wears it all the time. I used a really nice wool. That's Joe modeling it, but really like the color. Yeah, he wears it a lot, so I was quite happy with that. And that's when I really started, like, this is the first time I finished a project, and I was like, I think I made this correctly. So that was really exciting. And this was in December of 2022, so at the end of that year. Also at the same time with the scrap yarn, I made this case for my mom's AirPods. Hi, Joe. So again, working in the round, I learned how to like make a hole. I think I started at the bottom and then worked my way around. Yeah, this was like a more complex, and I think it's really cute. So I made that for her. Then, okay, now we're in January of 2023. I started making these bonnets. I love this pattern. I've made this pattern many times for many people. This was a wool I got on sale during like, it was like a warehouse sale. I love this color. I still have a tiny scrap of it that I'm saving for something special. But yeah, I really like how this turned out. I love the little bow. And this is when I started to kind of find my footing. I think I was getting a lot better at crochet at this point. Okay, I also made this scarf. Oh, that bonnet I did give to Naomi, so I don't have it anymore, but I do have this scarf. So here it is. I still wear this all the time. This is made with, I think it's called a moss stitch. Sorry, Joe's just chatting. Joe, come here, baby. Yeah, it's like a moss stitch, I believe is the stitch name. And I just did, gosh, who even knows how many stitches? Probably like 40 across, maybe even less, and then just work my way down until I ran out of yarn. Did some fringe. I'm really quite happy with this one. I love the color, and it's something I do still wear all the time. Jojo, come here, baby. Then, this is another hat. I made this for my friend Benjamin. Also made with just a merino wool, and he still wears it all the time, which I'm really grateful for that. So that's another one I made. Made this hat for myself. It was so small, didn't have enough yarn. I frogged it and used the yarn to make another one of those market bags, which I gave to a friend. Oh, you could see on me. Yeah, tiny, tiny hat. Very tiny hat, too tiny. Okay, this hat I have. This hat was made with Noro yarn, Silk Garden I want to say, but that could definitely be wrong because it's wool. It's 100% wool, so I actually have no idea. I love this hat. I wear this all the time. I love the like pops of red. I just think it's the best. Still love it, still wear this all the time. And this is the same pattern. So you could see hats were kind of my go-to. This was a sweater. I think it was a Hey Hey Crochet free pattern. I accidentally put this in the washing machine and it got destroyed. But I also hated it. I think it was way too short. And the sleeves were so long. And I didn't, at that point, like I very easily could have just added more length to the body, but I didn't really understand how to do that yet. So wasn't happy with this and it got destroyed, sadly, RIP. But the color's great. I wish I hadn't destroyed that yarn because I would have definitely made something else with that color. Pretty fuchsia color. Still, okay, still hats. Still hats. I made these hats for some friends. The yellow one I actually made for Ryan before he was my boyfriend. Scandalous. Yeah, this is when I learned how to do the like 5 slip stitches at the top of the hat to kind of get rid of the bunching. You can really see it on that red one there, which I've since stopped doing because I kind of like the look of like the bunchier top on the hat, but that is an option. So this shirt, this was my first attempt. I used a Lang linen blend yarn. I kind of made this by using like a modified vest pattern. And just made it into like a summer top. It was very short, like the fit of it wasn't great on me. I wonder if I have photos. Yeah, here it is. There's Joe in the background of that photo. The fit wasn't that good on me, and I ended up remaking that project. I think I showed this in my last video, but I made this top with that yarn. So I undid it and I made this top, which is better fitting, a bit longer, has some edging so it seems a bit more finished, and then a little keyhole design here, which I'm quite happy with. So it gets a lot more wear now. I'm really quite happy with what I've done with it. And I wear this a lot in the warmer months, so this was a success in the end. Okay, with the same yarn I also made this bucket hat, which I do also have and I do wear. I've made a couple of these. I made one for my friend Emma, and I have 2. One is just like a yellow silky cotton blend, and then this one is the Lang one. And I also do wear this all the time in the summer, so that was a success. I love the kind of ruffly edge of it. And I have a really tiny head, so hats don't normally fit me, which is why I really like to make my own. I wish I had made like a little cord for it so it would stay on my head. And I'm completely out of this yarn. I have 0 of this yarn left, and I'm not going to buy another ball just to make a cord. So next time. But I have my hat like flies off my head, and a little cord would be very cute. Okay, this was another freehand. I use like what's that stitch called? It's like you make a little puff. I don't know. I also made a scarf with this stitch for a friend, and I have 0 photos of that. I used like a really beautiful yarn. Don't know. Didn't take a photo, sadly. But I do have this photo. This was from my e-reader. I still have this case too. There's things I'm seeing now that I realize I have, but I didn't think to pull for the video. But yeah, this was like my first time freehanding something without like any kind of pattern. I just picked a stitch and went for it. I think it's really cute. I still use this. So this was the beginning of a sweater. This sweater, oh my God, you can see I'm using a very tiny hook. I think that's a 3mm, I want to say, very small. The yarn, this is the best photo I have of the yarn, but it basically starts green and ends red. And it is a gradient, so it goes down, which was great for the body, horrible for the sleeves. But here it is, finished. I do actually wear this quite a bit. I used a Viv Crochet's pattern. The neckline you can see is quite stretched out, and the yarn is so thin, I don't know if it would take well to like an elastic. But yeah, this is something I still wear. It's great for the summer months because it's really breathable. It's linen cotton, so super lightweight for the summer, like a summer evening. But yeah, this was a horrible experience trying to make it. It took me months. That's when I finished it. So I started it in June, and this photo is from November 12th. So it took me a long time. I really had to struggle with that, but I finally did it. I really wish there wasn't that like band of yellow before the sleeves. I wish I had kind of started the sleeves where the yellow was starting, but I was worried I wouldn't have enough yarn. So it is what it is. You live and you learn. Hat I made for my mom. This is my first time doing a pom-pom. I didn't have like a pom-pom maker at this time. I just cut out cardboard and did it, and that was rough. I think I did it on a Twitch stream, and we were having a good laugh because it was really hard to cut through the pom-pom. And then when I did cut through, I realized I hadn't put a piece of string to kind of secure it. So we had a time, but we got there. And my mom loves this hat. She wears it often. Okay, so this is the next sweater I made. This is Noro Tayo, which is a discontinued Noro yarn, and I made this sweater with it. I love this sweater. I used the same Viv Crochet's pattern, but I just didn't do any decreases. So the sleeves are wide, the body's wide. I think it turned out really cute, and I wore it a lot. I wore it on vacation. I think I have a photo of me like drinking Guinness in Ireland. Oh yeah, here we go. In Belfast. I was in Belfast drinking a Guinness in my sweater. And for my mom's birthday, I gave it to her because she loved it so much, and she was always talking about it, and she deserved it, so she got it. And then I made a matching sweater. I knit one with the same yarn, so we have matching sweaters. Oh, here's us in our matching sweaters. Cute. Made this granny square scarf. We're now getting into December of last year, so very recent. This was a gift from my mom as well. Yeah. And then I made this crochet scooty. This was my first one. And I used scrap yarn. I love how it turned out. I feel like I wouldn't have necessarily picked all these colors if I wasn't just trying to use up what I had, but I think the effect is so cool. I love how like the blue comes in a bit later. Yeah, I love this. It's great for when your hair is kind of in a hairstyle and you don't want to mess with it. But yeah, super cute. So this is what I'm making for Cade as well. But yeah, that's kind of my crochet journey. I have a lot of crochet plans coming up. I'm gonna make that scooty. I'm going to make some more accessories. I want to make another shirt with the keyhole. Yeah, really enjoy crochet. Also really enjoy knitting. If you have any questions about crochet, where to start, if you have any favorites of what I've made, let me know. This isn't everything I've made. There's a lot of things that just didn't make the cut because they were just repeats or, you know, things that aren't that interesting. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'm excited to be back hopefully quite soon with another video. Okay, take care. Bye.